am a slave.
And here we have my final product with the green pesto, adding Parmesan cheese on top, and I think that looks absolutely and utterly gorgeous. Alhamdulillah. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I have decided to do something very creative today. I'm feeling very creative. So what I'm going to do is I'm writing down a shopping list in how to make homemade pesto. Basically, I'm going to start going through some various sources that I can teach you young boys online in how to make. Now, basically, you're going to need a cup of fresh bay leaves, three cloves of garlic, 3 tablespoons of pine nuts, half a cup of fresh grated parmesans, salt and black pepper, and probably 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. Now, I'm going to do something very different today. You're going to see me do the shopping, and I'm going to make various clips of me doing the shopping, and I'm just going to flip the camera to show you the shopping list. So there's the shopping list itself, alhamdulillah. And let's hit the road. I'm heading down to the shops, and we're going to do a bit of shopping, and then you're going to watch me put this all together and put it into create the pesto directly. Now, more importantly, one of the key reasons because I have a brand spanking new pesto and mortar. And unsurprisingly, I want to use it. See you in a moment. One of the key reasons why I'm doing this today is because I have brought a brand new pesto and mortar and I want to see it in action. See you in a moment. As you can probably see, where I live in the countryside, you have to suit up for motorbiking or going anywhere because I live literally in the middle of nowhere. So when I'm going to go shopping, one wraps up one's head because it's bloody cold out here in the countryside, sticks one's helmet on, sticks one levers on, and that's it. We hit the road, lads. Right aisle. Now I just got to find the right materials. As is always the normal state with me, never getting the right bloody aisle when I want something. So finally found what I'm looking for. Now it's a matter of just waiting for the shopping basket and the queue, as always. Typically, isn't it? So I've got all my recipes, now I'm just going to get them home. So I would caution anybody not to do what I am doing here, simply because I live in such a remote area of the countryside that I know every one of my neighbours. So as I literally just left my bike there where I unlocked all the lock-up area. And you can do that in certain parts of the countryside, but it's getting rarer and rarer. And I mean, you have to be extremely remote. So, finally home, after a rather unpleasant adventure at the local supermarket. I'm here to unpack everything to make homemade pesto. Boys, I hope you pay attention because when you make homemade pesto, it is actually cheaper, especially if you eat pasta on a regular basis. It is cheaper, it is healthier, it is much, much more efficient involving your dietary needs, and you don't put money in big corporations. Well, you are to a degree putting money in big corporate pockets, but not to a vast amount. Does that make sense? You're putting less money in big corporate pocket. Alhamdulillah. Whoa. Jeez. And hey, last but not least, the garlic. Let's get mixing. Smells the garlic. I almost feel French. Now, there is a way of actually peeling these, but I have a hack I want to teach all of you little monkeys in how to get rid of the skins really quickly and very economically. Stay tuned. So, this is my mixing bowl, and I've just chucked my 3 garlics in here, and you shake it. And I kid you not, you shake it. It helps if you have a good hand action, boys. So, once you've peeled off all the skins, as you've just seen what I've done with the bowl, but you can peel them with a knife if you want to. I prefer to shake them, it takes a lot quicker. You grind these buggers up, you add salt, and you keep grinding until it becomes a paste. So I'm going to give this a shot. Caveat note, 3 cloves is not enough. We're going to need to chuck in the more garlic. So as you can see, I've now, this is like one-handed here. So forgive me if this looks absolutely garbage. But relatively speaking, this is what you want. You want to mess up the porter itself. And I'm trying to hold this with one hand whilst filming with the other. And it's absolutely failing. But I wanted you to have an idea. Basically, you want to bring it into a pesto kind of a paste like, and then you add the additional ingredients. So in goes next roughly chopped parsley and roughly chopped basil. So parsley, basil, parsley. I'll get it right in a minute. And then you want to grind that up until that becomes a paste as well. And you want to keep adding these until you have a good consistency in the actual paste. Caveat. I haven't made homemade pesto in a very long time. So this might be one of John Lockwood's disaster cooking shows. And if it is, this is how you not make parsley later. So this should be the consistency you're looking at this point. Okay? This should be the consistency you're looking at. And my arm is absolutely killing me. I caution you, it might be easier using a blender. It looks right. That's the problem on the pestle and mortar. It looks right, but damn, my arm is killing me. Now we are at the pine nuts. I think this is starting to make it look a lot better. Now I know why people move to food blenders. Oh my God, this is hard work. My arm is absolutely murdered right now. But we are starting to look like the original product. You know, you can see that light green coming in from the pine nuts. It's proving extremely, extremely hard work. Now, after many moments later, we have a very, very lovely consistency. This is where we add the cheese. Ding, ding. Parmesan regali cheese. Now you'll grate a good section of that up, probably 5 or 6 gratings, I suspect, and then place it straight in there. And basically it will come up with a really, really nice texture. And then you add your oil and then you bind it all together. And that's when you will have your pesto. As you're well aware, these boys, that cheese is a very hard cheese. So you're going to need a proper grater for them. Alhamdulillah. Last but not least, boys, olive oil. Now, you want to put this in sparingly, yeah? You want to put it in little dribs and drabs. And then basically mix. And then keep mixing, and then little dribs and drabs until you get the right consistency, yeah? Lastly, boys, since I like to take the edge off of what I use, I tend to use half a lemon, squeeze that in as juice as well, mix that in as the last ingredient, and then bang, you've pretty much got your homemade pesto. And as you can probably guess, I will show you the final product when I start cooking it with the pasta tonight. Alhamdulillah. So now, ingredients and costs. Almost all of that, most of that will be under £5, except the cheese. Now, because of all the issues we've got currently going on in the world, the cheese is quite expensive. It's about £3. But you shouldn't need a huge amount of it. You could easily use that cheese for 5, 6 different types of recipes that you would be putting in, but sprinkling it on your food at the end of the evening, building it into tighter sauces. You can use that kind of hard Italian cheese for quite a bit. So it's an investment, relatively speaking. But the bulk of your materials will be under £5. When you take into account that you can make probably 5 or 6 sets of pestos with that, you're spending only a £5 for the most of the ingredients, and you're buying the cheese once, and that'll last you for quite some time. What you then do is, it's cheaper than buying 5 pots of pasta sauce. It's a hell of a lot cheaper. And people don't understand, if you actually do most of this home cooking yourself, you will save yourself an entire packet. And boys, this stuff is worth it, even though if you don't like the idea of doing the legwork. Now that I've cleaned everything up, boys, that's what my final product looks like. Now, I'm probably going to be adding a little bit more oil to this, and it was an incredible amount of work. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm mixed results, in my opinion. I think it looks good. I might have got the ingredients a little wrong from the recipe I'm reading from. So, relatively speaking, pestle mortars work. But you have to know what you're doing. And this is the first time I've used one in a very long time. Bismillah. Let's hope it comes out well. And here we have my final product with the green pesto, adding Parmesan cheese on top. And I think that looks absolutely and utterly gorgeous. Alhamdulillah.
I am a slave.